Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. To begin with here, locally in Trinidad and Tobago, Tobago took center stage in Times Square, New York on Thursday, bringing the island's vibrant culture to the heart of the Big Apple. Spectators couldn't resist joining in the dancing, drumming, and sweet sounds of the steel pan. The THA, Tobago House of Assembly, Department of Culture, and the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited, TFCL, coordinated a lively showcase to share a taste of Tobago and spark excitement for the 2025 Tobago October Carnival that is themed A Feel Good Moment. From taxes to tickets and birth certificates to business permits, citizens will soon be able to pay for all these transactions through the over 1,000 NLCB terminals across the country. That is going to be so convenient. That is something that I believe is a really great, positive policy that the Kamala Prasad administration has chosen to implement. Really saves the time on the lives of so many people here in Trinidad and Tobago that have limited time during their hard working days, and those who have to send their children to school. It's really going to be about convenience, and that is wonderful. The announcement comes following the official launch of the National Payment and Innovation Company of Trinidad and Tobago, NPICTT, formerly known as the Trinidad and Tobago International Center, TTIFC. Once again, people, as I said before, this is advancement. This is good. This is all about convenience, saving our precious time, because time is really precious. Minister Sarwat Singh addressed the concerns raised by the PSA president, affirming the government's commitment to delivering the 10% wage increase which was promised during the general election campaign. A lot of us have been waiting patiently to hear when exactly will the offer be materialized. The promise will be materialized. And of course, we know it was impossible for them to do it right now, because it was basically, this is like what you call like a lame duck period in the government's rule of the country. And that's because the elections was in April, and therefore they weren't the ones responsible for making the fiscal budget for this year, and therefore they have to basically manage whatever resources remain in the treasury, people. And that is why Kamala Prasad has been trying her best to be able to allocate funds from different avenues. Okay, so definitely we are hoping, and this is from what this Minister Sarwat Singh says, that it will be included in the budget. He said everything we put into the budget, we intend to deliver. In the way in which we put it, I kind of find that a little strange, but anyhow, be specific, no man. But he did, but anyhow, he said in the manner in which we put it, and to everything we subscribe to in that budget. Well, it's more than just the budget, brother. It's all about your campaign promises, not just the budget, because you can have a budget and still leave out the 10% and say, well, it just was not in the budget. He says, so it is the intention, but this is the part that to me brings a little bit of hope. He says, so it is the intention of the Honorable Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance to fulfill our promise of that payment. This is what is significant about it. For the collective bargain 2014 and 17 to 19. So rest assured that we are working extremely hard to make sure and to have that done. And that is what, that final part of the statement there is what gives me encouragement that most likely 10% wage increase will be part of the fiscal budget for 2026. The Ministry of Public Administration and Artificial Intelligence remains committed to ensuring that every citizen across the country can engage in the digital age with confidence and ease. Affirmation came from Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry, Rhoda Patiram, at the official launch of the Labre ICT Access Center on Friday. For this government, access means opening the doors to opportunity, equipping our people with skills, and ensuring that communities have the tools and technology they need to succeed. That is precisely why we are gathered here this morning. Of course, they were in a meeting or conference. P.S. Patiram said the Labre ICT Access Center located at the Labre Community Center, and I keep saying we need community centers throughout Trinidad and Tobago, not just one. More than one people, especially in areas that are very large, will be a transformative space in the area. It represents freedom to learn, to innovate, to connect, and to transform lives, which will have a significant impact on the community's people. It is the freedom for a student to complete an online course and become the first in her family to earn a degree. Freedom for a young entrepreneur to establish his first business in the digital space. And freedom for a grandparent to access essential government services without standing in long queues under the hot sun. Sometimes you have to be standing up in line by the banks, standing up to go by these government offices. All that now, you wouldn't have to go through all those problems because you could be able to access those services online. She said it's encouraging all the residents to make good use of space, and I will say, and of time. According to preliminary results released by the Ministry of Education, a total of 8,035 candidates registered for CAPE Units 1 and 2 examinations this year, with an overall pass rate above 90% achieved across most subjects. That is significant, that is positive, that is really good. I hope that trend continues. Now for some news in Guyana. As a result of government strategic interventions, Guyana's Chief Education Officer, Saddam Hussein, on Friday, like we have a Saddam here in Trinidad as well, but he's Hussein, I believe. But anyhow, so Saddam Hussein on Friday reported that the country has recorded improvements in mathematics at this year's Caribbean Secondary Certificate CSEC examinations. Hussein made this disclosure during the Ministry of Education's CAPE, CSEC, and CVQ results released on Friday. He stated that this year the pass rate for mathematics this year stands at 32%, an increase of 5% when compared to 2024. Some more news in Guyana. Cement and steel, this is something to me is so important because it's something that assists especially those that living in the poorer classes in society. This helps them to build their lives, to have a stable and a safe home. Cement and Steel Initiative supports home ownership dreams at International Building Expo 2025. The Dream Realized component of the International Building Expo 2025 kicked off at the Guyana National Stadium, marking a significant milestone for over 330 first-time home builders. Throughout the day, these individuals will receive essential assistance through the government cement and steel initiative. People, those things are costly, and therefore the government is willing to assist a lot of us here in society. Well, that is in Guyana. But of course, I believe it will have similar types of programs here in Trinidad as well. So this initiative aims to assist Guyanese citizens. No, let me read back the other part. Throughout the day, individuals will receive essential assistance from the government cement and steel initiative led by His Excellency President Dr. Irfaan Ali, because he's the one that came up with this initiative. This initiative aims to assist Guyanese citizens in constructing their homes. That's why I said safety, homes, regardless of whether the land is government allocated or privately owned. The distribution of cement and steel vouchers was overseen by the Minister of Housing and Water, the Honorable Colin Crowell, and the Minister within the ministry, the Honorable Susan Rodriguez. Under this program, homes valued at $6 million Guyanese, of course, and below will receive one voucher for a sling of cement and steel. I don't know what's a sling, but I guess that's probably, a certain amount. Builders constructing homes estimated between $6 million and $25 million will benefit from 2 slings of cement. So I thought I was assuming for a moment there that it's just people under a certain budget will receive assistance, but this is not what it's saying here. Even those that are exceeding a certain budget will be assisted by the Irfaan Ali government of Guyana. Why would people go and vote for another political party? It just does not make sense. Make the right choice. Vote for the PPP.
I am Alisa Buran, a teacher, single mom of 3. We're working in Region 3, and today I'm elated. I am happy because it's a new start for me and it will benefit my kids in the future. My son, he is 16. Today he will be getting his preliminary CXC results, so I'm going to give it to him. Also today I collected my CPC certificate, so I'm super happy today.
I'm Lindsay Beard. Just got my title completed here at the Ministry of Housing. I'm quite excited. I don't think the waiting period was that long. I got it within, let's say, about a year or so. So I'm very happy, very content, and I'm very happy with what the government is doing.
Today I would have received my land title. I'm very grateful to the Almighty. I've been waiting for over 10 years, so I'll commence billing soon.
I was waiting since 2008, but in February 2025 they called me to do my sales and agreement, and they tell me 6 months after I would get my title, which I got it today, just after 6 months indeed. I'm so happy for it, and let's keep the progress going.
Now for some news from Jamaica. Just weeks after undergoing life-saving heart surgery, 4-year-old Alicia Samuels has been given the all clear to return to school in September. News that has her father beaming that she's now back to being a normal child. The clearance came after her latest checkup on Thursday at Bustamante Hospital. I wonder if I pronounced that correctly. But anyhow, for children, where doctors confirmed her wound had healed and x-rays showed no sign of complications, according to her father, Omar Samuels. I'm very happy for her. I'm very happy for her family. I pray that she continues to recover fully in Jesus' name. At 23, Brittany Hamilton became the first in her family to earn a tertiary degree when she graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from the University of the West Indies, Mona, 2 years ago. Now the Albion St. Thomas native is headed to Europe. That's an adventure, people, on a fully funded Erasmus Mundus joint master's scholarship from the European Union. I would leave my comment about that from another platform. As I hear European Union, let me just stop right there. She said, I am excited for the new journey, the new chapter, very excited for what is to come, she said. And I do wish her all the best. And definitely, it is going to be a journey. It's exciting, people, traveling, going to other parts of the world, the experience. I want to be able to, by God's grace, to be able to travel various places around the world in the future. If God tarries, of course, if the rapture doesn't take place in the next few years. Now, some travel news, information, international news, whatever you want to call it. Spanish, African, and indigenous cuisines have combined in Puerto Rico. I want to visit there as well, to create a culinary tradition like no other. While travelers might come for the beaches, the restaurants reinvigorating the island's classic dishes are giving tourists plenty of additional and delicious reasons to enjoy Puerto Rico. Wonderful. The iconic wildlife of the Galapagos is found in more places than you might think. A short trip from the mainland, Ecuador. People say, what, like you want to travel the whole world, boy? Because I would love to. I would love to visit some of those Central American places and even South America. Definitely have to be careful of areas that you're going in. But you know, it's for the nature. That is the thing about it, for the wildlife. That's why I would love to visit those places all in South America and Central America. So anyhow, a short trip from mainland Ecuador reveals a sanctuary for several of the big 15 Galapagos species. Here, protected waters, fishing restrictions, and reduced competition for food resources allow the species to thrive, and budget-conscious wildlife lovers see them in a much quieter environment. And that is one thing that I'm always thankful for, that there are leaders of governments around the world that are trying their best to preserve the wildlife, the fauna and the flora of their countries. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news headlines. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, stay blessed, and stay safe, most of all, in Jesus' name.